It stored habits as the brain slept. And none of this would have been possible without MIT and our beloved Dimitri. So, I would personally like to thank you. Thank you, Dimitri. Let's go ahead and explore that subject a little bit deeper. The habit of me was hard to find. Stuck behind this wall I never thought I could climb, feeling hopeless because that's what I defined as me. I'm my own doctor, prescribing my own remedy, sick of the signs that I believed were controlling me, a habit formed through curiosity. Tricking the brain into labeling it as necessity, trying to breathe. From this mask placed upon me, one day I might find a right path. But for now, I'm stuck in the habit of me. Ready to share some knowledge. And I'm walking through a field. I get stuck on so many things right now. Hope you guys care. So excited for this video, guys. So excited. Hope I can make this video. Is this even legal? I don't even know if I'm on someone's property, you know? We'll find out. Technically this would be like Goodwill's property. There's a Goodwill over there. Yeah, that's Goodwill. Alright. Let's figure this thing out. So excited to do this thing. I just walked all that way. I'm done. Let's get this party started. Hey friends, it is time for another video for the well-rounded musician, and today we are talking about habits. I was reading a book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I think that's how you say that. And it was talking about the creation of a habit, and I thought it would be amazing for you guys to be able to know what I learned out of this book. There's lots of wonderful stuff in this book. In the early 1990s, MIT researchers were curious about the brain's basal ganglia. Oblongata what? The basal ganglia is a golf-sized lump of tissue that resides towards the center of the skull, where other primitive structures that control our automatic behaviors are located. They observed the process that rats go through when they form a new habit. To do this, they created a T-shaped maze and put chocolate on one end of it. They used the cue of a sound and a door opening simultaneously to trigger the beginning of this rat's search for the maze. Rat or no rat, I think we can all agree that chocolate is an outstanding reward. They analyzed the brain of a rat with micro-technology. Can we give the rat a name? Yeah, I think I would give the rat a name. We can do whatever you want. Let's call the rat Dimitri. At first, Dimitri wanders up and down the maze like all of his other brothers and sisters, and eventually stumbles upon the piece of chalk, but there was no clear pattern. However, inside the mind of the rat, the basal ganglia was working tirelessly.
What can I do to deserve this? How? Why me?
Proved that the brain was processing everything the entire time Dimitri was searching. After repeating this process over and over, Dimitri was zipping towards that piece of chocolate, effortless. He wasn't stopping, sniffing, turning around, eventually finding the piece of chocolate. He was creating a straight beeline towards that piece of chocolate. The most important thing is that Dimitri's brain was learning. The mental activity decreased. The route was becoming automatic, and him and his brothers and sisters had to think way less.
Well, that was easy.
Dimitri went from firing on all cylinders, processing every single little thing, to basically going on autopilot.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Brain decided what functions were necessary and what was unnecessary. Eventually, the parts of the brain that was contributed to memory was working less and less, and Dimitri was internalizing that sprint towards that scrumptious piece of chocolate. This internalization relied on the basal ganglia, as it became the core processing as the brain worked less and less. The basal ganglia recalled patterns and acted upon them. It stored habits as the brain slept. And none of this would have been possible without MIT and our beloved Dimitri. So, I would personally like to thank you. Thank you, Dimitri. Let's go ahead and explore that subject a little bit deeper. Word is up. It's like you're part of, is that a gang? Like imagine if someone made a gang out of that. Yeah, we're the basal ganglia. Don't mess with us. You got habits. We'll teach your son habits too. What's that basal ganglia? What is that anyway? Like basal. My knees do not feel great right now. I'm like Yeah, because I'm on a hill. I cannot stand up, right? If I stood up, knees hurt me right now. Talking about basal ganglias. My back. I had to walk this whole entire time. My car's way over there. You know what? I'm gonna leave this up here. Forget it. I'm just kidding. I couldn't leave you guys behind. What are we talking about? Okay, let's go. Habits are built off a process called chunking. Chunking is when the brain connects a series of actions into automated routine. Think about when you learned how to play that first note on your instrument. You went through the process of understanding what to hold, how to stand, how to breathe, how much energy was needed to produce the note, and how to know if the sound being produced was good or not. Over time, things got easier, and eventually you are able to pick up your instrument and just play. You had these chunks hardwired into your brain's basal ganglia, and these routines became automatic. Habits allow our brain to not worry about basic behaviors, but if the brain shuts down, then we can miss some very important things. So the basal ganglia was created to let our brains know when the habits can take over. Like how a boss will send an intern to go get coffee, print papers, or make phone calls. These are things that the brain doesn't have to process, so it gets handed to the basal ganglia, or in this case, the intern. The form of habits can be summed up into a 3-step process known as the habit loop. This is cue, routine, and reward. The cue triggers the brain into going into automatic mode and lets it know which habit to use. The routine can be physical, mental, or emotional, and the reward helps the brain know if the loop is worth remembering for the future. Habits will never leave the mind. Imagine if you had to relearn how to write with a pencil every single time you picked it up. That would be very annoying. But the problem is the brain doesn't understand the difference between a good habit and a bad habit. That means that the bad habits will always be there, waiting for the cue and rewards to trigger them. But we can create new habits that can overpower those bad behaviors. What are the habits that are holding you back from your true potential as a musician? Is your music an unorganized mess? Do you have a procedure to properly take care of and maintain your instrument? Do you mark mistakes on your music as soon as they happen with a pencil that should always be on your stand? And do you have a consistent practice routine? What's great is that you can use this method of chunking in the practice room to get better with your music. Chunking is a way that can allow us to learn music quickly and effectively. Number 1. Find a part of your music that you don't necessarily play very well and record it on the very first take. This can be 4 beats long or 4 measures long. It depends on the complexity of the music and your ability to play it. Number 2, work only on that section and find ways to play it more effectively, correctly, and fix those mistakes you were making. Number 3, apply repetition to that chunk of music by playing it 5 times in a row consistently the exact same way. Number 4, record a final take of your newly improved chunk of music. Number 5, last but not least, enjoy the power of chunking. Find a new chunk of music and start back at step 1. And there you have it, some great ideas from a great book, The Habit Loop by Charles Duhigg. I hope I'm saying that right. Duhigg? Charles Duhigg. No, it's probably Charles Duhigg. This book is full of wonderful ideas and I can't wait to share them all with you guys. I highly suggest you guys pick it up if you guys feel like just reading a great book. I will put a link in the description somewhere for the book. Probably gonna be like an Amazon link or something like that. Don't forget to tap, hit, smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of my content, more of this pretty face, and let others know of the greatness that is what I'm doing here by sharing stuff with you guys from my noggin. And yeah, habits can make or break you, and good habits do stack up on each other, but so do the bad ones. I've come to realize that one good habit can be a chain reaction for many more great habits throughout a lifetime. It starts with one. Now go off and conquer the practice rooms and build highly effective habits. And never forget, to fail is to fall, to avoid is to stay down, to try is to get back up, and to strive is to succeed. I'll see you in the next video.